Be sure to use code BOBSYT at the EA store when purchasing the Battle Pass or Apex coins to support the channel. Now, the highlight of Season 26 has certainly been the new permanent mode, Wildcard. However, it's had some controversy, and Apex Legends has done quite a lot of updates in the last couple of days, which included some changes to Wildcard along with some other bug fixes. So let's take a look at those, and afterwards, let's take a look at the next big update in Season 26 that will introduce a new event and some gameplay changes, which are certainly going to shake things up. So yesterday, Apex Legends pushed an emergency update which had some changes and some fixes to a few of the bugs, starting with the fact that they changed Wildcard so that stats no longer impact seasonal and overall stats. However, 4K and 20 bomb badges are still earnable. So at the time that they released this update, they were standing firm on the fact that they do still want badges to be earnable in Wildcard. So it seems moving forward, you will always be able to earn badges in Wildcard. It seems this was always intended, and it's not just something they accidentally left on. So for those of you who've been enjoying Wildcard, like myself, and earning those high damage badges, it's certainly a lot easier than it ever has been, but it's also been really fun just earning badges on all different legends, even legends that you don't usually play. So I'm glad that this has stayed the case. However, when they stopped kills from being tracked in Wildcard, the community went crazy. But don't worry, because only one day after, Respawn decided to revert this update. So now all kills and stats in Wildcard will count towards your seasonal and overall stats, which means your kills will indeed track. So you don't have to feel like your time's being wasted while you're playing Wildcard. And let me tell you, I found Wildcard really, really fun. So this is great. It's honestly a new way to play Apex, and it's been really fun. I've only been playing Wildcard, and I've only really wanted to keep playing Wildcard because it's so much more fun than the normal pubs, in my honest opinion. So huge W to Apex for reverting a change based on the community feedback. It seems they are slowly but surely improving on the communication front and listening to the community. So hopefully this keeps up. And let me know your thoughts on the Wildcard mode. Are you glad that kills track in it? And are you glad that you can earn badges? Now, next up, the update also introduced a few bug fixes. First up, for Valkyrie, her tactical missiles now fly at the intended speed. Because we talked about it in my last video, there was a bug where Valkyrie's swarm missiles traveled at really slow speeds for no reason whatsoever. It obviously was a bug, it wasn't mentioned in the patch notes. However, this bug might have been the result of the developers tweaking Valkyrie in the dev build of the game. Maybe a Valkyrie buff is on the way, or maybe a larger recon buff is on the way, which I think is something that we can expect soon. It just seems like they're doing something with the recon legends behind the scenes, but we'll have to wait a bit further for that. They also did some server stability improvements, so hopefully that's good. And they made it so ranked challenges now properly reset if the player previously completed them last season. And finally, bots no longer land in one spot in E district and attack each other. I didn't really know that was happening, but W for these bug fixes. Also, a few days ago, Respawn fixed the Accolades notification, so Accolades were turned back on. So while you've been playing in Season 26, you should have been earning Accolades. Now, I know some people aren't really a fan of these, but honestly, I think they're pretty cool. And some people did point out that Accolades actually allow you to see how many 4Ks that you've got. Because if you take a look at all your Accolades, one of them is called Damage Done. And it has 4 tiers, and you unlock tier 3 when you've done 4,000 damage. So let's say you already have a 4K badge on a legend, and you get 4,000 damage once again. No matter what, every time you get 4,000 damage or more in a game, then this accolade will track it, so it can keep track of how many 4Ks you get, which I think is pretty cool and definitely gives more reason to want to play and increase your accolades. Also, now the compact settings for accolades display in the gameplay settings now works correctly, so that the audio will be muted if you get accolades. So if you're someone who doesn't like that constant dinging sound, turn on the compact settings on accolades display. And they also fixed the UI for Caustic's passive field research while playing Wildcard, because at the start of the season, if you were playing Caustic, it would constantly say that you have an upgrade available, even though perks aren't even turned on in the Wildcard mode. And let's talk about perks in Wildcard, because on August 18th, Apex Season 26 really begins, because that's when we get the first event and the first gameplay changes to the Wildcard mode that were shared with us in the early access playtest for Season 26. So on August 18th, the new Galactic Games event will be coming to Apex. Now, this event, of course, will bring a bunch of skins that I have showcased. We can see all these Olympic Games style skins And we have some cool legendary skins. We have Sparrow in this kind of Greek-style Olympic outfit with a golden laurel around his head. We also have this Seer skin, which looks pretty cool, alongside this Gibraltar skin in this tribal native design, and he even has a turtle shell as his gun shield. We also have the Loba skin, which kind of has the Brazilian colors and the peacock feathers, and this is the skin that you've seen in a lot of thumbnails recently. And we also have this really cool Watson skin, once again showing off her hair, and a French beret. And now it seems the Galactic Games event will be a milestone event. It's not confirmed, however, just based on how many cosmetics there are, it does seem like it will be that way. And we will be getting a new mythic melee weapon, which is the Grand Slam Bat. Now, the Grand Slam Universal Heirloom is this bat that's definitely based on the Apex Mobile Octane Heirloom, which was a bat as well. That could also spit fire, and there's some pretty cool animations with this one, including ones where you draw a bunch of Apex playing cards, and others where you swing the bat around. If you open the bat up, it also has an energy drink inside, so you can tell it definitely has some Octane theming. But the Grand Slam Bat will also be a mythic weapon, and that's where the gameplay changes start, because on August 18th, a new version of Wildcard will be released, and this will last until September 9th, and in this new version of Wildcard, you'll be able to find the Grand Slam mythic melee weapon around the map, and this will be a unique weapon because you'll be able to charge it up and hit the enemies to launch them and send them flying into the zone. Now, I don't have gameplay to show you, however, it was described by the developers, and they said it's a lot of fun, and like I mentioned, you can use this to launch enemies into the zone so that they take zone damage, and also just send them flying. It sounds like a lot of fun, and the developers said that the wildcard mode is essentially a testing ground where they can try out new, fun, wacky ideas. And it seems that for limited times every now and then, Wildcard will receive a bit of a shakeup, and they'll introduce some new things to it for a limited time before it goes back to being the core Wildcard that we currently have today, with the Evo Orbs, the auto looting, the self-revives, the legend stacking, and so on. Now, at this time, from August 18th to September 9th, Wildcard will also have new wildcards. These will be new cards that you can craft at wildcard replicators, and each player has 3 wildcard slots that will unlock every round that the zone closes. And these craftable wildcards will give you new perks and abilities, and we don't know all of them. However, some of them were described to us by the developers, and one of them is that you can wall run. Now, this is obviously very exciting because people have requested wall running in Apex for a long time, and now it's going to be in the wildcard mode in the form of a wildcard that you can craft. Now, this will just grant the legend the ability to wall run. Another wildcard that the devs told us about was one that if you knocked an enemy, it will instantly revive your knocked teammate, which would obviously be very useful, but they did preface that these wildcards are absolutely insane, so I can't even imagine some of the other abilities that they're going to give us. But if wall running is on the cards, then I'm sure there's going to be some other wacky wild cards for us to try out. So hopefully that clears up what's coming in Season 26. I was a bit confused at first when these wild cards weren't in the wild card mode, but that's because it's all happening on August 18th with the new Galactic Games event. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of Season 26 so far? Do you think the new wildcard update sounds like fun, or do you just like how wildcard is right now? Or maybe you hate it? I just want to hear your honest opinions about Season 26 in the comments, and I'll be sure to bring you guys all the updates for Season 26 as they drop. So stay tuned on the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.